Hey there, I'm Thanos. EMBOAR is intended for listeners that have finished reading Worm and are passively familiar with Worm's many fanworks. Fanworks talked about during the show may be spoiled during discussion, and if you're going to listen anyway, ignoring this warning, you will be balanced. You've been warned.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Etch and Misha's Bad Opinions and Reviews, also known as EMBOAR, your premier worm fanfiction podcast on the internet. I am Misha.
I'm Etch Jetty, also known as Etch.
And today we are joined by our special guest, Chartic. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I think we're in the same boat, tired as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are the trials and tribulations of having to schedule over different time zones.
Different time zones, different work schedules. Etch has to go to school. I have to do things with my life.
It's winter break now, so I don't have to go to school. I just have to go on winter break.
I'm on vacation.
That's...
I'm scrambling to try to get shit done before Christmas.
Really sorry. This is
Yeah.
It's kind of miserable, but on the other hand, like, you know, I love doing this kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm
This
really
is fun.
happy that people come together and listen to it. That we have actual fans that aren't just Colossal Mistake, and like
I'm amazed people
No,
listen to
that's
this. Are you kidding me?
that's it. It's just
we have
Colossal.
and he presses repeat on the video like 300 times
500
every
times,
episode. All right, let's get right into it then. Etch, what have you been reading this week other than I don't know, finals?
Well, I've been reading the Peggy Sue fic called "The Artist Formerly Known as Riley."
You mean
I think it's
Bonesaw.
by
The artist
Oh,
from
the
Bonesaw.
the artist formerly known as Bonesaw.
Yep.
And I can't find a link because I'm a terrible user of the internet who can't search jack shit.
That was-
Found it. The artist from it's by October with an R-E.
October.
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 And it's a Riley Peggy Sue. I don't know which Ward arc it's set in because I haven't read Ward.
Same.
But what matters is that she's sent back to her body back around the time of I want to say the Cherish trials for the Slaughterhouse 9. And it's very very very
Yeah.
tense.
Yes,
it-
I know that
it's-
because I read the first chapter.
It's so
Oh
tense.
God, is it tense?
It's basically an entire game of like does he know that I know, or does he know that I know that he knows, or does he not know that I know, but does he really know? And it's like a complex web of
a-
like things that are about to happen but haven't yet, and it's very like heart-stoppingly terrifying.
It's like a nice game of cat and
a
mouse.
very good read.
Yeah, and it
It's not
is
even a game
right
of cat
before
and mouse.
Cherish.
Is right before
Yeah.
Cherish? Cool.
It's not even a game of cat and mouse. It's a game of the mouse walking around, and there's also a cat there, and they're just kind of looking at each other, glancing, and like pretending that everything's all right, but they know, they know.
These are pretty chunky chapters. I'm looking at 3.6 thousand words, 3,000, 2.7, 4.6.
Yeah.
That's
Even though there's only 4 chapters, it's a hearty read. It's
And they're-
it's very much worth it.
and I like to see that October is doing the patented one update a month.
EMBOAR's doing that.
Oh, we're not doing that.
Who would do that?
I'd be amazed if we do that.
We are. I feel like we are. Roughly.
Actually,
EMBOAR's-
don't know.
EMBOAR's probably the thing I've updated most consistently ever.
You know what I found out last night, Etch? I have been back from China for just about 2 weeks, and it's felt like 2 months. It's fucking bizarre to me. I've lost track of the concept of time.
Haven't we all?
Same.
Speaking of which, what fanfic have you been reading? Mank.
I have read a couple more chapters of Augment, which is the Charlotte story where she triggers around arc 11. It's still pretty solid. I think I still have the same problems a lot of people have brought up before. It feels like Charlotte doesn't have a lot of personal agency. The pacing is a little weird, and but like it's just I have not kept up, but I have kept on going through with it simply because arc 11 is my second favorite arc in the entirety of Worm. So it's just, I like seeing divergences. I like seeing things set during that era because I think because that's basically the start of Warlord era, which is what everyone likes to say they're big fans of, but then they don't actually, understand. I'm not going to get into that. I like arc 11. I like it set there. I like a lot of the butterflies that are happening because of it. And in addition to that, I would like to say I've been reading Luminous, and by that I mean I haven't opened in the tab on my phone for the past 2 weeks. That's about it. But yeah, hopefully around Christmas I'll have more time to read, but most likely not because I'll be, I don't know, doing Christmas things.
Recording more episodes of EMBOAR. Chartic.
Right. Now for Chartic, what have you been reading?
Our lovely guest.
I think the most recent thing I read was Life Bends Down.
That thing that Etch has not read ever.
So,
Yeah.
Not even the first chapter.
I've read the first
Jesus.
chapter. Fuck you.
I'm gonna have to
I haven't
read
read the
it
second
back.
chapter.
I read a paragraph of the second chapter and backed the fuck out.
Fuck.
I
I hear Perry sharpening knives in the distance right now.
Yeah, this is.
was very confused.
I don't know
It was
if
like my
I can be your
first
guest.
time in the
Oof. Oof.
I'm really
Chartic turning that back on us.
But
You had
yeah,
left the call.
I love Life Bends Down. I love the jokes. I love the humor. I loved the literary references. I don't know where those went. But
Perry just forgot. There's no more. There are no more literary.
Excuse me?
There's no literary references in fan fiction.
yeah, well, I think that might have been the problem. Oh well. So I have been enjoying that. What else have I read recently? Nothing. I've just been writing.
That's an eternal mood from everyone.
Well, no, you know what? Writing is better than saying I've been playing Breath of the Wild for 69 hours, which is what I was doing the
Nice.
past couple weeks.
Rune has
I got the game again.
Rune has a gun to the back of my head right now.
Oh no! And then she just chanting Felix Fortuna,
just-
Felix Fortuna.
She just said, Chartic, you better be able to go on the podcast and say we have the next chapter ready.
Do you have the next chapter ready?
No.
There's a silence
Anyways,
there.
this is a great transition into the works of our guests. So let's start with it. Let's start with Felix Fortuna. I think that's one of
okay.
the first. That's one of the
It
first
was
fics we talked
it was
about
the first ever fic that we discussed in any depth at all,
As you should.
on this show. Yeah.
as
like,
it deserves.
Damn. This is a throwback to however many months ago the first episode was.
Yeah, that was in September. I want to say.
Damn.
I have no fucking clue.
I lost. Like I said, I have no idea what time is anymore. You could shove a clock in my face. I would not be able to tell you where the fuck I am.
Yeah, but this is it's really really surreal and cool that the podcast was just the two of us talking about things we like, and now the author of the thing that we like is here, and it's really good.
Yes, I am.
So,
Okay. Felix Fortuna. Let's talk about it.
who wants to give a little summary for those our readers who
I
haven't
think-
ever?
I think our guest of honor should be the one giving the summary. It is their work.
Okay.
So.
Let me get out from underneath my blanket.
Damn, you have a blanket? Oh, I should have done that.
I'm just sleeping in my gamer chair.
I just in my chair.
I need to plug in my computer before.
Oh.
Wait, you need to plug in your computer? What are you recording on right now?
I'm
Are you recording right now?
I'm recording on a company laptop.
You know what? That's understandable.
Okay, so Felix Fortuna
So
is the story of Fortuna. Tired of all the shit she's had to put up with, turning herself back into a little kid, removing her memories, and sending herself into the Harry Potter world.
as everyone wishes they could do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with Harmon Felix Fortuna. Where is that on my? Here it is. So, what inspired you to write this story essentially? Because I've been curious, because to me it seems like, I mean, I have this theory called the fanfiction singularity, that no matter what fandom you're in, eventually something crosses over with either Harry Potter, Naruto, or My Little Pony. It's just bound to happen. It doesn't matter where you are. But let's talk. Why did you decide to send Fortuna to Hogwarts?
Well, originally she was going to be sent to Touhou.
Of course.
Sent to hell?
Sent to Touhou. And
Understandable. I'm surprised that didn't happen, actually.
Well, the way it worked was I had been reading Ward, and I did not like where Wildbow had decided to go with Fortuna's story. And I was like,
The beach episode.
a lot of it. And so I was like, this isn't what she deserves. She's been, killing herself, basically, getting the world back together, and now that it's back together, it's just the same thing again, except
It's
even
just
worse
shit.
for her.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't what she deserves. She should get to have, like, a good life. And I thought about it, and I was like, she should get to have a childhood again. So I was talking with Perry and Rune, and Rune was like, do not put Fortuna in some anime bullshit. Which almost...
Where's that penguin with the no anime gun?
Oh my god.
The newt.
It almost made me do it out of spite. So I put her in
Continue your
Hogwarts.
story.
So I put her in Hogwarts, and that's the story.
Amazing.
So really, what we can say is Rune said no to anime bullshit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So instead, it's wizard bullshit.
Now it's wizard bullshit. That's actually,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's. I feel like that both surprises me and doesn't surprise me at all in the slightest.
I mean, Maroon Sweater she was in the Harry Potter fandom for a long time. So she
Yeah,
is. I think that's
was
why
never
she
there.
went to Harry Potter.
I mean, it is pretty classic.
It's
Yeah.
massive. It's persistent. The Harry Potter fandom will most likely never die. It'll keep on existing after J.K. Rowling dies, I'm pretty sure.
Which is tomorrow.
What? Whoa. Okay. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Oh, Jesus.
Remember that guy who said the Queen would die on January 10th, and then he got arrested?
Oh my
Exactly. So
God.
for legal reasons, that is a joke.
I am not associated with these two. I am a guest.
Okay, so let's talk a little more about Felix Fortuna and what we like, basically, about Felix Fortuna. I personally think that, Chartic, your style of writing is what really keeps me involved in Felix Fortuna. Now, I'm not caught up, I'm sorry to say, because I just...
How dare.
Look, I've had no fucking time, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I understand completely. I understand completely. It was a joke.
I'm not caught up, but everything I've read is just... I really like how you've captured Fortuna as a child, because she is very precocious. And there's so much, like, sarcastic energy in everything she does. And that's what's really been keeping me in this story.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also that it's kind of cliche to say this, but everyone feels real and everyone feels like a kid. It feels like a school for magical children.
And even though it's like over the top with like magic and these kids blatantly breaking rules, it's still relatively grounded in the world that you created. And this also brings me to another great character you decided to introduce me to, known as Flavia Deluche. Deluche? I have no idea. How do you pronounce that?
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Deluche. But
Deluche?
I don't know.
Okay. And that's actually another crossover character.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about Flavia Deluche.
Well, I should tell you originally, She wasn't supposed to be in the story.
Oh.
Originally, we were just going to have... Because we were going to have Fortuna be into mysteries, which she is. And I had been reading the Flavia Deluche novels at the behest of Rune, who loved them. And I love them too. They're great books. You should definitely read them. And so I was like...
Should you put
I
an
kind of
Amazon
want
link?
to. Yeah.
Should he put an Amazon link in the future?
Oh my god. No.
All right, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Okay. So the I brought it up to Rune. I was like, we should add Fortuna reading Flavia Deluche. And Rune was like, we should have Flavia. I was like, what? We haven't planned this out at all.
Oh, okay.
I feel like the character dynamic works really well, though. Like
it does.
The obvious parallelism between Dr. Mother and her.
Yeah. Well, that was
really
part of the
works to
reason.
sell.
That was part of the reason we added her in the first place.
The other reason is fun character is fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple of other Harry Potter stories that have been around the crossover with Worm. But the one I really want to ask you about is what was it called? Severus Snape: A Path to Victory story, or something like that.
Yeah.
No, it was a Path to Victory Severus Snape story, which is also about a person in Hogwarts who has Path to Victory.
Did we also talk about that in the first episode? I think we did.
We did.
Wow.
We did. But I'm getting to
full
ask
circle.
about it.
Full circle,
Just
man.
Full circle.
Oh my
It's
God.
very
I
cool.
love this.
I'll never be able to escape it.
Would like to ask you about it. It's the wonderful point of an interview.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I started reading that after I posted Felix Fortuna. Well,
there's no like inspiration between the two.
Yeah, well, I kind of was looking into stories that were similar, trying to see if we were ripping anyone off. And I enjoy it. I think it's a good story, but I just don't think...
Are you like me where you just don't care about Severus Snape at all?
I think Path to Victory
killed...
works for Fortuna just because she's such a good character. Like, I don't think Path to Victory works with Severus Snape for me.
What do you mean? What do you mean by it works for Fortuna because of her character? I just wanted like a little bit of elaboration on that.
Fortuna, it's really interesting, especially because
Fortuna is the type of person who, realizing that the world was ending, she devoted the rest of her life to trying to save it. And Snape isn't that kind of person. Like, Snape is a manipulative asshole.
He's also, I want to say, from my understanding of Harry Potter and Fortuna, much more selfish than Fortuna.
Yeah.
Just remember, just that line always. It's like, Jesus Christ, he's still there always.
Yeah.
No one's ever really gone. Yeah, but it's interesting because a lot of people in the fandom really do not grasp, especially in fic, who Fortuna is.
She's a robot, right?
I've seen more than one where like somehow her power gets shut off and then she just curls into a ball and just doesn't move.
Well, I understand why writers do that because I feel like a lot of writers don't know what to do with Fortuna, and so they just need a way to get her out of the story.
Well, here's my take on it, right? If you don't know what to do with the character from canon, you don't know how to implement them into your fic, don't. Okay, I'm going to get on my fucking soapbox real quick. Scion. I'm going to fucking do this right now.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I need to tell this to people listening to this. If your story does not even come close to the scope of Scion, don't mention him. You don't need to. You never will have to. If your story does not include the scope of saving the entire fucking world, don't talk about potentially saving the world. Because 9 times out of 10, guess what? Your fic is going to stay in Brockton Bay. It's going to die at Leviathan. You're never going to reach Scion. Just stop. Just don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to stop before my blood pressure gets too high.
I always think of that Thinker 6 crack fic where Taylor triggers and then everyone turns around and like the Simurg in her telekinetic swivel chair turns to face Winslow and they all like and they all stroke their chins.
Oh my god.
What a
Fuck's sake.
most interesting development.
I've just that line of bullshit has gone on for too damn long, and I am so sick and tired of the Scion problem. Whatever. Okay, moving on from that. Let's go back to Chartic real quick. Okay, this is something else I wanted to ask about. This is something I'm trying to get better at asking all our guests about. How did you get into Worm? And then also, as like a larger question, how did you get into writing fan fiction or reading fan fiction? Just the whole shebang. Like, I want to hear a little bit about your history with fan fiction, fan works, and also Worm.
I first got into Worm because my little brother was reading it. And
oh shit! Really?
He recommended it to me. And I had recently broken up with a girl whose name was Taylor, so I didn't read Worm fanfiction for a year.
Amazing.
So I started reading Worm, and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. And I started reading fanfiction from it. And that's how I got here.
As most of us do.
Yeah.
I mean, I for the longest time after Worm, I was like, I am not reading fanfiction. I don't want to touch fanfiction because I knew that if I started, I would never get out. And look at where I am right now.
Yeah. How embarrassing.
Accurate. This is accurate. I sure
failed
hope
that
someone
exercise.
is fired for that blunder.
It should be all my IRL friends. I messaged one of them being like, so I started reading fan fiction. His next message was, I'm blocking you.
All my friends know I write fan fiction.
All my friends know I host a fan fiction podcast. Surprisingly, they don't give me shit for hosting fan fiction podcasts. They actually are really happy I'm doing this.
That's
You know,
good.
I actually wrote my college essay about EMBOAR. So
Nice.
thank you, Dane,
Oh,
for
wow.
getting me into university.
All right. All right. So
It's true. Factual.
Let's move on from Felix Fortuna. I think we're all set with Felix Fortuna.
I should mention I got into fanfiction because I started reading Ranma and Half fanfiction. That's my original fandom.
That's also a very old fandom, Ranma 1/2. I've never seen like the original show or any of it or any of that stuff, but I know it's ancient.
It's not very good.
I remember someone telling me in like 6th grade, be like, "Oh, you should definitely watch Ranma 1/2." And I was like, "Okay, pitch it to me." And he was like, "It's about a guy that turns into a girl when you spill water on him or something." I don't.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And I was like, "Okay, that sounds very interesting." And then I never touched Ranma 1/2.
Oh my god. It's one of those 80s anime where instead of where they just have like full frontal nudity all the time.
The old Sailor Moon way of doing animation.
Sailor Moon looks tame in comparison to Ranma.
It's oh damn, wow. Okay, so moving on from that. Speaking of anime, I want to talk about an enigmatic source of knowledge real quick.
Enigmatic when?
I've never heard of it.
So, for people who don't know, an enigmatic source of knowledge is a cross between Worm and Touhou. And if you haven't read it, I suggest you don't listen to our conversation about this because Enigmatic has one of my favorite Wham lines, my favorite reveals in all of Worm fanfiction. It has one of the most powerful and just unforeseen reveals I have ever laid eyes on, and I love it.
No one ever guessed it while I was writing it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't guess it when I was reading, and I just kept going, and all of a sudden, you get to that chapter where it's like Alexandria shows up on Taylor's doorstep, and Taylor doesn't recognize her, and you go, what the fuck's going on? And it turns out, we've been following a Taylor on an alternate universe. This entire time. And it was just, it blew my mind. It was phenomenal.
Freaked my bean.
Yep.
And that is a really unique concept that I've never really seen before or ever since.
Parallel universe clones?
No, that we follow a parallel universe.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like you have like your Tino and your pan-dimensional shenanigans, which all follow like alternate versions of a character, but they're all primarily set in Earthbet Brockton Bet.
Yeah, we pull people into Earthbet.
I've never seen one that's set initially on another Earth. They then get contacted to work as an employee on EarthBet. That's never been done since, and I really, really appreciated that.
Thank you.
And
very, very cool.
And I know you drew a lot of inspiration from basically Touhou lore, which I think is one of like your passions in life.
Oh my
from what I
god!
understand.
This podcast could become the Touhou podcast because I will talk about Touhou.
We've got roughly half an hour left.
All right, let's go into the story.
Good.
Yeah, let's go into enigmatic source of knowledge. So basically, we start off on Taylor Hebert, learning magic after the locker leaves her infirm. And she summons what is basically a succubus to help her do shit.
Yes.
It's an infirm nurse.
Yeah, so it's basically about Taylor, who has access to a lot of magic and these kinds of weird powers, and then she gets yoinked by Cauldron to be like, yo, help us out a little. And then she kind of situates herself on EarthBet, and it sadly died, so to say, on basically a thing I was looking forward to the most, which was Patchy Taylor. I think that's her name, right? Patchouli?
Yeah. Patchouli Knowledge.
Patchouli Knowledge.
Or
Taylor,
Patchy for short.
Meeting our Taylor. And it was just, because I love this is why I love alternate universe shenanigans and shit like that. I love it when one version of a character meets another version of themselves who made different choices and, went through a whole different journey. It's why I liked Emissary. It's why I kept up with Emissary for as long as I did. I can't say I liked Emissary because there were a lot of things that made me go, what was that? But, that's neither here nor there.
What was I going to say? Yeah, there's... On that subject, I really, really like... This is barely relevant, but there's this one omake for...
Omake, yeah.
There's this one omake for... what's that fic where Taylor dies? Not Taylor is dead.
I was going to say
it's the
Taylor.
one with
Which
Madison.
one?
It's the one with Madison and Madison's powers.
Is that
with
Intrepid?
Spider-Man.
Is that Intrepid?
Not
Or
Intrepid.
the other one?
It starts with an A.
Atonement.
Atonement.
God, how can there
This
be
is
so many?
omake for Atonement. There's an omake for Atonement where Taylor from canon meets this version of Madison, and the whole plot of this fic is that Taylor is dead, and Taylor realizes, holy shit, the world is better off with me dead, and that was like a really brutal, fucking terrible
Jesus.
line. Like Madison was like, I know I did all of this for you, and she's like, well,
You
I
did
guess
more than I did.
You did more than I did.
Okay, so to bring back
really
enigmatic, to bring back to enigmatic real quick. So the question I guess for Chartic is: did you write this because you really like Touhou?
Yes, but that's not the whole story.
Okay.
I wrote this because actually I was writing another fic at the same time, which is very shitty, called Doll, where Taylor was
I read that.
Alice's daughter, but didn't know it, and that died.
That was really short, wasn't it? Yeah, that was super short. Doll.
So around that time, I got the flu, and then I started reading this story called Patchy Quest that was hosted on an old Touhou fanfic website, written by a somewhat famous guy. I think he's written some stories in the Worm fandom even.
Oh, really?
I can't remember his name.
Oh.
But if you look up Patchy Quest, you could find it. And so I binged this all in one day, and I was high on... excuse me, I'm sick. I was high on cough medicine, and I was just like, I should recreate this. And so that's why I started writing...
Whoa, this was hosted on a Chan.
It was?
That is... I'm looking at it. This was archived on a Chan. That is ancient.
Yeah.
Patchy, so Patchy.
It's old.
Spelled differently than Pachycephalosaur.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at this being hosted on a channel, which means like this was like way before people moved to forums to host this.
Yeah.
Shit. That's insane.
It's 2011.
Damn.
Kahi wrote it, but
The date is August 31st. It is Wednesday, my dudes. I'm sorry.
Oh my
Sorry.
god.
Anyhow,
Sorry.
returning back. So this fanfic idea was conceived under Cough Medicine High, which is as all of the greatest fics are conceived. This is probably going to get us into a Touhou hole, but what about Touhou as a crossover source speaks to you?
Well, here's the problem. Touhou, I don't think, is a great crossover source for certain fics. Because Touhou is very difficult to merge with other stories. Because the world is very set in its ways. If you attempt to change things, you'll be beat down.
Ooh.
And, well,
Change
all the
things,
characters
you mean
are
by, like,
overpowered.
By change things, you mean like alternate universe, AU some history, AU some powers, or just like upsetting the world of Touhou itself?
Upsetting the world of Touhou, because it's a story about all these super powerful people. And anytime they try to cause a ruckus, they just get beaten down. So like
all this
bullet
lore,
hell
all this
protagonist.
lore spawned from a bullet hell game. That's insane.
Yeah, the bullet hell games have none of the lore, but everyone loves them.
Exactly. That's one of my friends was like, yeah, I played through the entirety of like the second Touhou bullet hell game. There's no narration, there's no narrative in the entire thing. It's just hell.
Yeah, it looks like hell too. It looks awful.
It does. But like, I think I don't even know how this whole culture around it sprung up, because there's like a lot of fan art, a lot of fan fiction, a lot of fan music. Actually,
there's a lot
It
of
is
fan
just-
music, and I think that might be one of the propelling forces because all the music is amazing.
yeah. I mean, I was
Especially Ronald McDonald.
I was introduced to Touhou music via Bad Apple, like 95% of the world. I feel
as
like
everyone was, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
thought the other 5% was introduced by Ronald McDonald Insanity.
Ronald
See,
McDonald.
I
mean, it
was
was either that
thinking
or,
UN Owen was her.
but that's the Ronald McDonald video. UN
Oh
was
right,
her.
Ronald. What the hell
Yeah.
am I thinking?
Of course, everyone knows that. Duh.
Look. There was a time where I was super into looking at midis of Touhou music, because
Oh my god.
it
I
looks
was so
like
into
the
Black
game.
Midi.
It looks like the game, and it's just all these notes cascading across the screen. It's just, holy shit, this looks fun.
Black Midi was so much fun.
It always looks fun when someone else is playing it.
Exactly. And then when
Yeah,
you
I
try it,
download-
you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Anyway.
What was the question?
We lost our train of thought, but that's okay. I want to bring us
Totally.
back real quick. So, I know you've said privately on a couple of Discord servers that you are in the process of basically both editing Enigmatic and also trying to just write the entirety of it and then post it all at once.
It's already
That's-
written.
Oh,
What?
Enigmatic's been written, like, all the chapters were written before I quit it.
perfect. This brings me to my actual question, which is, you've spoken at length about how you have a lot of unpublished work. Like, I know you showed me screenshots of like 19,000 word documents of random things. So most people,
Oh,
me
don't
included,
call me out like this.
are very impatient motherfuckers. So whenever we finish writing something, we just throw it on the internet for those fucking likes on space battles, because we are crack addicted, insane people who needs that internet validation. So what prevents you from just having this huge body of work and you just go, I need to actually make this good, unlike the rest of us?
Well, because, like, I feel like I've written better, and I don't want people to read my writings and go, oh, Chartic, they're fucking awful. Which is what I'm worried will happen if I just start throwing shit out there.
No.
I mean, have you seen this fandom? Fuck.
Listen,
I should not be on this show when I'm this sleep deprived.
I have standards.
You and
high
nobody else.
But yeah,
Standards.
I mean, I mostly just write for my own entertainment. Felix Fortuna fills up the void of wanting people to give me likes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just write whatever I want. I have a bunch of stories I'm working on right now. I have a tab of them.
That's actually really
you'd
really
be-
cool.
If you'd be interested in hearing some of the ideas.
Oh, hell yeah. Are you kidding?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So here's a punk rock Bonesaw post-GM fic. Here
I'm in.
is...
What is that coming out?
I'm actually thinking about publishing it.
Oh, shit.
This one,
Ooh.
I really like this one. So
Punk Rock Riley.
yeah,
I'm ready. I'm into it. That's
Punk
great.
Rock Riley. That should be the title.
Damn. Look at me being so helpful today.
Yeah.
Just
So-
today, though. No other day of the week.
No other day. No.
No.
I also have Redhead Redemption in Emma's story.
You've told me about, or you've talked about this before,
My mouth is wide open. I'm like,
and
I can't believe that name exists.
I'm into it because I love like quasi Emma redemption stories. This is why I can't read okay, side tangent. This is why I can't really get into We Appreciate Power, because from the beginning Emma is a fucking crazy person. and it's like I'm enamored with the idea of either an Emma that never betrays Taylor or just an Emma who's like redeemed and tries to make herself a better person. But it's, I don't know, We Appreciate Power. From what I read of the first two chapters, it wasn't going to have much of that, or even any.
No. No, not at all.
Redhead Redemption. I mean, it's
Yeah.
in the title, right? It's not just a shitty Red Dead Redemption joke, right?
It is set in the Wild West too.
Oh wow. I mean, there's only.
I mean, I can
What's
tell
the
you.
other Wild West one? That's the.
Worm 1863.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is that rideable? How do you pronounce it?
Rideable?
Is that his
Rideable.
name?
Like the
Rideable?
word, like pronounce like the word rideable.
Oh my
right?
god, you're right.
Like as in this horse is rideable.
I don't know.
I think right.
I've been saying rideable.
Rideable.
I just say rye.
English is not my first language.
My first language was Touhou.
I mean,
Mood.
you merely adopted the Touhou. I was born in
I've
it.
got 2 Touhou stories in the works.
Are they just like pure Touhou stories?
No. They're
Oh,
worm,
they're
worm
worm.
Touhou
Oh, wow.
stories.
Oh wow.
Oh, actually, I killed this one. It sucked too badly.
Oof.
Oh. So you have one Touhou.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question I want to ask you then, because it looks like a lot of your inspiration from your works come from anime IPs, ranging from Enigmatic Source of Knowledge to another fic that I want to talk about, which is Magical Girl Faultline Chan.
Ooh.
I
so-
love Magical Girl Faultline Jail.
Okay, but when are we going to get more of that?
Personal attacks.
Oof.
You just hear the sound of me leaving.
Bobo.
Chartic just leaves the call.
I
We're
love-
done.
Oh god, I just never got around to it. I wrote a fic at the same time that I never published. That was a story about it was a Harry Potter story with no crossover. Just about a grad student working at Hogwarts. And I think
what would
they
be doing?
were just a professor. They were teaching
like
alchemy
okay.
or something.
Okay. For some reason, when you said grad student, I was like, what, are they a TA? Do they collect homework? Do they magically grade the homework?
They went to American grad school, so they have a huge student debt.
Fuck!
So they needed a job, and their job used to be, I think it was called like Magical Alchemist something Chan, or something like that, something awful. And so she used to be a magical girl alchemist, but then she accidentally blew up a gas station and got sued, so she had to quit her job.
I'm in. That sounds great.
She
Okay,
was
but
like-
so
You don't even need to tie that to Harry Potter. Just make it into its own original work, and I turn it into a TV show. I would watch it.
So about your inspiration. This is a question about your inspiration. It's just from anime. It seems like you've taken a lot of inspiration. How does this make you feel when a lot of people kind of complain about anime? in the fandom. When a lot of people in the fandom kind of just look anime, they go, "Oh my god, it's fucking weeb shit," which is, me included, half ironically.
They're right.
There's that meme where it's like people laughing at weebs, and it says,
"Oh
me
yeah,
also a fucking weeb."
That's literally me. That's just me IRL in a picture.
I would say I hate anime.
Oh my fucking. Elaborate.
I like the trends and everything. There's certain things. I was having this conversation with somebody where there's certain things where you're talking with other anime fans and you'll just go like, "Oh yeah, that story was great," besides all the fan service, or "Oh yeah, that story was great." Besides, forget the Nazi redemption arc though, where it's like you, as a anime fan, you have to compartmentalize and like push some of the evil things out that are there, and you have to ignore it.
I'm just like remembering when Darling in the Franxx was like the biggest anime of the year, and it turned out it was just people literally riding motorcycles, but the motorcycles are women.
Yeah, so that's all I have to say about anime. But I think there's a lot of anime that's good. I love Touhou specifically because is one of the few weeb things I found that's just like non-stop good as long as you ignore the fans.
Yeah.
Like
and I also like a lot of weeb shit. Like I think anyone who's ever talked to me knows I've spent probably half of my life obsessed with Umineko no Nakukoroni, which is
you still have that as your profile pic?
Oh hell yeah, dude! Burn Castle is just I love that character, and it's one of those IPs where it's like even the fans are great, honestly, in my opinion, because they will go on 9-hour tangents about why the creator of the show is wrong about their own work. Too bad those videos got deleted. I'm so sorry.
The
my
J.K.
God.
Rowling approach, I see.
It was a 9-hour video essay about why...
Was it actually? Is this real?
Yeah, it was a 9-hour video essay split into like 6 parts of this guy going through every single plot point in the visual novels going, this is why Ryukishi 07, the writer of this whole thing, is completely wrong about his answer to his series. It was amazing.
Jesus.
It was insane. Fuck, now we're on a complete different... Welcome to EMBOAR, where we sometimes talk about worm fanfiction.
Let's talk about worm fanfiction. Chartic, you've written a couple of pretty infamous fics.
Oh, yes.
I think one of the ones that...
I'm wondering which way you're going to go with this.
I actually posted it in chat,
yes.
And it's hidden behind a spoiler bar.
I have a quick question for you. Let's talk about Love Heals All Wounds. And here's my question for you.
The Pokemon Nilbog fic.
This is my question for you, Chartic. Why?
Yes.
This is in my notes. I can send you a picture of these notes. All I have is Love Heals All Wounds - why?
Oh my God. Love Heals All Wounds was created because I think whenever me and Perry create a story together, it's something that's horrifying. We could get into the other story we created. And so, excuse me. I think we were talking about what if Taylor had Nilbog powers or something like that. And I was like, oh, she could make Pokemon. And then Perry was like, she would use what resources are available to her in the locker.
Oh, fuck.
It was either Perry or Gaia. I can't remember which, but...
I wouldn't be surprised by either one of those.
Oh, God. So anyway, that's how that got created. Because I was thinking about doing a serious story about Victoria's mom. What's her name? Brandish?
Yes, Carol.
It was a story about
Carol
getting Nilbog powers and making Pokemon. Because her sister dies in the her sister dies in the shootout. That was the story.
Yeah.
And Carol trying to put herself back together.
Is that an actual fic?
No, it was what Love Heals All Wounds.
Oh, sorry.
So
And then
that's what it became.
We could have had, a great exploration on the Dallins and of Carol, but instead we got
menstrual sore.
We got menstrual sore.
Unfortunately, I think I was drunk at the time, so Like,
Oh my god.
that specific weekend, I think I was just completely drunk. So I couldn't write something serious, so...
I spend most of my... No, I can't say most anymore. I spend too many weekends drunk.
Yeah. Love
That was
Heals All
3
Wounds has a
days ago.
second chapter, actually.
That's never going to see the light of day, or...
Well,
Wait,
it's-
no, you've
it's-
linked this before in like a G-Doc somewhere.
Yeah, it's ready to go. But Perry needs to draw the picture for it.
That's the only reason?
That's the only reason.
You know what? That's okay, Perry. I'm sure you're very busy with school, with work, with life. It's okay. You can put this on the back burner. We don't need this just yet.
Life bends down, that's not important. The new Love Heals All Wounds picture, though.
That's the good shit. That's what we need. Okay, so...
But,
Oh, Etch.
of course, you have written... well, was this you or Perry? Who decided to create Genitaler Dick Destroyer?
God.
That was a combination.
I forgot that existed.
I don't think either of us can take credit.
Oh my god. This is like getting reminded of fan service all over again. I can't believe you've done this. I can't even find a link to Genitaler.
Yeah, it's on AO3 only.
It's
Oh my
also-
god, PETA did a full reading of it?
I can't find it on
Ooh,
Worst
that could be
Search.
a podcast in itself.
Oh no.
The Ball-Busting Adventures of Genitaler Dick Destroyer, the radio show.
Oh, we
It could be the new
all,
We've Got Ward.
We are all degenerates.
I'm not.
Actually, do you have a question to ask about Genitaler, or did you just want to make sure to remind me of its existence?
God. Do we have to link it in, like, the list of...
We will have to if we're going to talk about it. We have to now.
We have to now.
We have to.
Chartic, why?
I just thought it was funny. Like, me and
Yeah, okay.
when we were
that's
talking
valid.
about
That's
it, I
fair.
just like thought it was the funniest idea of all time, and so I was like,
Genitaler.
we have to write it. And somehow I convinced Perry to help.
I like how we've uncovered that so many things that we hold to be, natural and staples of this fandom are just elaborate shitposts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of my stories
That
just
gives
come
me joy.
from me thinking about some stupid scene and then trying to figure out how to do it. Like, Enigmatic got made because I had I had this scene in my head of Taylor in a wheelchair being pushed by Kokuma into an Endbringer fight, and everyone going, "She can't work here," and then Amy Dallin like touching her and going, "Oh Jesus Christ, what's wrong with your body?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Where did you get mercury
that's what
poisoning?"
happened, wasn't it? Yeah, that's actually what happened.
Yeah,
in
that is what
the
happened.
Leviathan fight. Yeah, and then Patchy tried to help and not really did anything. That was another thing I want to bring up about Enigmatic. That's one of the better Endbringer fights in Worm fan fiction, in my opinion, because I feel like people don't really grasp what Endbringer fights are supposed to be. You're never supposed to be better off after the fight. Ever.
No.
And it's like trying to fight against a literal force of nature. You don't shoot a hurricane and win. The hurricane still rains. The hurricane's still gonna blow. You can't really do much about it. You just kind of sit there and pray.
Yeah.
To quote Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, we should not nuke hurricanes.
Actually, you know what? Look. If someone authorized it, I'd want to see it on video.
I would be interested.
God.
I'd be interested in
Except
seeing it.
I live on Earth, so maybe nuking the hurricane isn't a good idea.
Let's nuke the moon.
Burst on the moon, you idiot!
I have an announcement to make.
How do you like that, Obama?
Okay.
One last thing. Cauldron Quest.
Oh,
yes.
I love Cauldron Quest.
Both Drunk Quest and
famous for
Cauldron
having-
Quest. I need to talk about those. Because I forgot
Famous
about
for having this picture of Contessa staring at a plant. Cauldron Quest is the story of Contessa trying to have a party.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'm just obsessed with
more or
Contessa
less.
doing normal things.
It's a valid obsession.
Yeah, I mean, look at
Better
Loaf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of my stories are a lot of the stories that don't get posted are just like super powerful people doing normal things.
Doing mundane stuff.
Yeah,
It's just,
like
yeah.
one
Yeah,
of
that was what Free Buddha said too about like monsters on their day off.
Oh,
yeah.
for Slaughterhouse, yeah. For the Slaughterhouse 9.
yeah. Mine is more like one of them was like some super powerful brute just opening a food shop. And it's just like small stuff like that.
Do they like the only time they use their powers is to punch the cow to pieces to serve sandwiches? Is that what it is?
The only time they use their powers is to go, you better get on out of here.
Oh wow.
Get
You better get on go.
J.K. Rowling, you're not allowed in this shop.
no.
This salon ain't big enough for the two of us.
Oh my god. Anyway, Cauldron Quest.
Yeah, you managed to get a piece of art for every single chapter of it.
Hey, Drunk Quest did that too.
Yeah,
Drunk Quest did that too, and every single one of those became emojis.
Yep.
Which
it's
is
because
pretty
they're all
iconic.
awful.
Chartic.
Drunk
done
Quest
with your
sucks.
shit. There we go. That's one of the better ones. Chartic done with your shit.
God.
That's. I should turn that into my Discord avatar.
Oh my God.
At some point, Etch.
Just put a Christmas hat on it.
It's
It'll
just,
be perfect.
it's just someone downing an entire bottle of liquor.
Mm.
Cauldron Quest.
But yeah, I love Cauldron Quest. How much of it was entirely like user responses, just driving it, versus like planned out beforehand?
There had been no planning at all.
Oh, wonderful.
Amazing. Because
So all of the comedy and
Everything-
humor was just in response to.
Everything got made because I feel like this is how quests should be done, where you actively hate your audience. Because a lot of the responses were awful. Like, a lot of the people
That's
saying
how
stuff
Homestuck was
just
written.
sucked.
who was it that was like, you should run a quest where the choices never matter? Was that Harbin? Where they were just like, yeah, you should run a quest, and then no matter what your audience chooses, you already have the next part written, so it doesn't fucking matter what they chose.
Yeah. The I think the signifier of that is someone kept trying to get Contessa to like, oh god, what was it? Like, go to different power changers and get her to change Contessa's power, so suddenly she'd be able to see everything. And I was like,
they're
that's not
trying
how
to
this
power
works.
game.
So like
power
that's where you get
gamers.
the
Imagine
scenes.
trying to
That's where you get the scenes of
imagine
Contessa
trying to
punching
metagame a
SB.
humor quest.
Oh, is that where
the
that came from?
iconic.
Is that where that came
Yeah,
from?
of course it
Oh
is.
my god, I didn't know.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
I actually haven't read that thing.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
I read more of Drunk Quest than I did of Cauldron Quest.
That's fair. It related to you more.
I connected to Drunk Quest on a very visceral and personal level.
I mean, I think we could also connect the Drunk Quest with the SB.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I have a question. About running quests. Actually,
Yeah.
the whole thing about running quests is like what makes you go, this is what I want to do with my afternoon. That sounds so mean. I'm sorry. It's just what is the driving force behind going, I want to go on an internet forum and basically run a loose role play.
I just thought it would be like a fun story. I wanted to test out because I had at that problem I was having. This was like when Enigmatic had a huge hiatus, and I was like,
Oh, okay.
I can't write right now. I don't know how to write. So maybe if I run a quest,
Same.
it'll push me into writing.
Actually,
it
should run a
did.
quest so that we can get more potions and parahumans.
That's exactly how
Those aren't Harry drawings. Those are Yun's.
What?
Which one? Yeah, those are Yun.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh,
I thought you said Perry drawings.
No, you said parahumans.
Oh, my bad. My
Yeah,
bad.
potions and parahumans. It's a great, another great Harry Potter fanfic that's crossed with Worm or / fused with Worm that
Oh my god.
I think
needs more chapters. Hints, nudge, nudge.
First, I have to finish my Secret Santa snip, which I mean,
Oh fuck.
do you think I could say it because this episode is not going to come out by the time this it's due?
Yeah,
sure.
go for it.
Mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for TM Thesaurus, which is terrifying because she has standards.
Oh, TM has quit every one of my stories.
Damn. I mean, that's better than me. I don't think TM's ever started any one of my stories.
It's so hard when people who have actual like literary knowledge
They have
actually read your
expectations.
stories.
They have great expectations for you. That's why you should write them a Dickens
Yeah.
novel.
One of the biggest quotes I've ever received was from my language arts teacher. I mentioned I was doing nano last year.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I might try to write a novel in the span of a month. And he's like, don't write a novel.
Write a short story.
Don't write a
Write
novel.
a short story.
No, he didn't even say that. He just said, don't write a novel.
Write a novel.
Just
Fuck.
full stop. Just
Oh
full
my
stop.
god.
Don't write a
Don't
novel.
do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Don't do it. So I didn't. And I quit nano halfway through, but at least I had fun. Anyway.
I got the participation trophy for this year because I thought, you know, I was like, I'm going to be in China. I'm going to have fucking nothing to do for the entire month. I was dead fucking wrong. I had a week off and then it was just work the entire rest of the month. So, you know, I tried to do an entire fic about Glenn Chambers during Nano. And, well, as most people know, I have like 8,000 words only now. And it's not going to be posted anytime soon because I want it to be completely done before I post it.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't always work for getting people to read the fic, because I know that the one who has been having trouble getting anyone who isn't
Cauldron.
particularly a large bear to read Gold Morning, even though it's really, really good.
I'm writing the importance of being Chambers is what I'm titling it, because once again, this probably isn't going to be out anytime soon, but neither is the fic, so it doesn't matter. But this is mostly just me going, I love this character, and I just want to do him justice, because Glenn is a good character. You know, I'm just going to put this on the fucking record right now. Guys, think about Glenn Chambers. He's a good guy. He's a great character.
Consider Glenn.
Think of Glenn.
Back
No
to
one
me.
ever has thought about Glenn.
Hey, that's not true, because I have thought about Glenn.
Fair enough.
It's actually a good transition into our final segment of the show. Your little Rex.
Quick
little
shills,
Rex
quick
corner.
shills.
Quick shills.
Oh my
quick
God.
shills. I'm gonna re-shill Gold Morning by the one who was, because this time, by the time this episode goes up, all the chapters should be out, and goddamn, it is such a fun read to read it all continuously.
That's
I didn't know
Gold
there
Morning
was
with
a
that
Rex corner.
Mourn.
With the, yeah,
There's a Rex corner.
it's a rocking rocker fic punk rock weird monster sex. It's not explicit, but it's very implied.
There's a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, fade to black.
Yeah, it's told non-chronologically, and when I was reading it, I had access to the whole thing because I was beta reading, and as the story came together, and as I read all of the chapters, just moving on and moving forward, it was wonderful. It was a beautiful experience to see it all like coagulate. But if not all the chapters are there, it would be hell to just see it
And then
I'd be like,
wonder.
well, what happens
I mean,
next?
no, but I feel like I think that's a good thing. I like that the one who was is doing this, because it's trying to get people to not just think of fan fiction as episodic or serialized writing. Because with episodic serialized writing, the best way to do it is to introduce a new problem within the context of your overarching problem for the whole story and solve that same problem within the chapter. That's how episodic writing works. You introduce conflict, you resolve the conflict, but then you escalate a little higher, you make it a little more tense. That works if you're doing serialized writing. That works if you're doing episodic writing, but that doesn't always translate into a good whole story. And
Yeah,
I like how the one who was is doing that. Like, I like the fact that the one who was is doing this, because it's starting. I can't say it's starting to teach people to read like this, but it's just it's trying to encourage this kind of reading where you judge the entire story and the entire work instead of chapter by chapter.
Yeah, it's very much something that should be read in its entirety.
I say this, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh my god.
You should.
It's open on a tab on my phone.
Yeah,
like
but
so many things.
it's not being read on a tab on your phone.
Exactly.
It's pretty excellent, and the twist halfway through is. Well, I shouldn't say anything.
I think for this story it'll be a lot like Last Call, and a lot like Top's OC fic, where it's just I'm gonna wait for it all to be posted and then just take an afternoon off and just go through it.
I mean, I know I was very, very confused my first time reading it, and that confusion became less and less as the story went onwards, and eventually,
which is good. That's what it should be
makes
doing.
Perfect sense, and it's like a euphoric revelation. It's beautiful.
And that's good because that's what an entire story should be doing, or like a story like Gold Morning should be doing.
Yeah, but if you don't have the patience,
you should get the patience. That's what I say.
All right, Chartic or Mank, whoever wants to go next.
I didn't know we were recommending something.
Oh shit! I don't have quick shills, man.
I mean, we just talked about Gold Morning.
I could recommend Life Bends Down. I will always recommend Life Bends Down.
Valid. Very valid.
If you like funny slice of life stories, it's amazing.
And if you read Life Bends Down and can't get into the characters like me, I suggest reading Mr. Gladley's memoirs, which has zero commitment from you because it's just Mr. Gladley being a fucking dumbass, and it's phenomenal.
You know what? I'm gonna recommend something that's a little off the cuff, which is Delusional Dancing Dragon, which is a Touhou worm quest where Hong Mei Ling goes to Brockton Bay.
I feel like I've read that one. Maybe on your recommendation.
Probably.
I definitely remember.
There are no good Touhou fanfics, but that is one of the few good ones.
Okay, there it is.
And one more quick chill, Blank Slate, which is a thread that Perry's hosting. There's this stupid fucking meme.
Not that
in,
thing. I contributed to it,
know it,
but I know it.
There's a stupid fucking meme on Cauldron, where they just edited Jack's speech about
blank slates.
Blank Slate.
I hate blank slates. Jack groaned the last word.
And then it's I always hated the heavy crates.
I've always hated
the Dock Workers Association. Listen,
I've always hated
so
ice skates.
It's so bad.
I've always hated decorative plates.
I always hated lifting weights.
So
I've
good.
always
I always hated
hospital
being
weights.
straight. I above Harbinger listen. That one was by Joe's a lot.
That's a good one. Shout out to Joe's a lot. Funny guy.
God.
Funny guy.
And if no one else
I'm trying to think of a quick chill. Oh,
I was gonna quick chill Web Warriors into the Wormverse by Connolly. I think I mentioned it last episode, but it's very, very good. It's a crossover not just with Spider-Verse like the comics and Worm, but it's between Spider-Verse, the movie Spider-Verse, and Worm. So there's two different versions of Gwen plus Canon Taylor, and what I really love about it is that they like going over the footage of the bank fight, and they see Taylor, and they're like, God, I hate her. She fucking sucks.
She's a bitch.
What a terrible person. It's amazing. I love it. There's so few fics that do it, but she really looks like a shitty person from an outside perspective.
Into the Spider-Verse is also a good comic series that I recommend people read. And if you want to read that, you should also read Superior Spider-Man. But that's not the recommendation I'm giving you guys. My recommendation for today is an actual Worm fan fiction, because that's what the show is about. I recommend Lend Me Your Ears. It is
a crab
by Burning Crab.
Crabbo.
It is an original character fic, entirely original character, OC cast, set in St. Louis. I think I forgot if it said St. Louis. It's phenomenal. Protect Imogen with your entire fucking life, because she is precious. Bless that child. And that's all I got. That's me.
Valid.
Is that it? Is that all?
I have one.
Got?
Well, we have to have a snazzy.
I have one thing left to say.
Ooh, okay.
Write your fanfics like Touhou. Strong characters,
Which is to say,
slice of life, no men.
and make sure to have an entirely unrelated segment of gameplay. Well, this has been EMBOAR. We will see you next time. I've been Etch Jetty or Etch.
I have been Misha.
I'm Chartic.
Hi, Chartic. And we'll be seeing you all next time.
I won't.